From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of early mornings LA. The toast is toasting, the coffee's brewing. I'm here, you're here, and so is your fourth stimulus check of 2021 today. In this recording, I go over the incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check of 2021, how much you're going to get, when you're going to get it, and why yesterday's developing details. Boy, they're just shocking details breaking across the board. Signaled and finished with a major pep rally push from the President of the United States to get fourth stimulus out the door. He ended it with, get it out the door. This is why you got to get fourth stimulus out the door. And he also said the same thing for fifth stimulus. This is the incredible great news. And while everything else that happened with that number that came out yesterday, the messaging from the president, while the data behind it and the analysis behind it made no sense, the ultimate messaging was get it done. Incredible great news. In this recording, I'll explain and analyze how a very convoluted situation is actually quite simple. Then I'll be going over the big money that's being returned to you. Yeah, states have been ordered to return money from you by the federal government. I'll explain who's getting that money. And then I'll be going over what's anticipated for next week, what's anticipated for tonight, as the Doge father himself is set to appear on Saturday Night Live, but what that could ultimately do to Wall Street, the crypto industry, and ironically, the stimulus check situation. I have all those incredible great details on a big morning's broadcast, early morning's broadcast. I'm here, you're here. The cows are not here. The bacon is not here. The butter is here. And soon, those four stimulus checks in less than 60 days could potentially be here as well. Let's get to the details. This is a major broadcast of Early Mornings LA. Wow, Mother's Day is upon us. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Hope you have a beautiful weekend, you and your family, and thank you for becoming part of my family. But if you've not yet, subscribe. Become part of the fastest growing, kindest family there is online. And I would enjoy you to be part of that family by subscribing. Also like this video and consider becoming a member. Link is at the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. In this video, I'll be going over the fourth stimulus check, how much, when you're going to get it, and why the developing details of yesterday in the morning, in the middle of the day, and also at the end of the day with the president's comments, all were great news for fourth stimulus. Then I'll go over the big money that's being pushed out the door and being returned to you by order of the federal government. Oh boy, great news as well. Then we'll also go over to fifth stimulus and what items under fifth stimulus also got a push from the president because of yesterday's developing details. A lot of stuff, and to the extent that I also have time, I'll cut over to the other items, a third stimulus that'll land in your bank accounts next week. Let's get to the details. Fourth stimulus checks of 2021 started in the month of July and continue thereafter. And while the amount of the check and the duration of the check remain part of the dispute or part of the discussion, incredible great details yesterday was that we got a major push because of a series of events. First, let me go over the checks themselves. The House plan proposes a stimulus check that would start in the month of July at $2,000 and then $1,000 thereafter, but go for a very long duration for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. So we're talking about quite a long duration. Let's look at that again. So the House members, the first month would be $2,000, $1,000 every month thereafter. The senators, the amount of the stimulus check remains unknown on the monthly basis. Now, what's important to understand about that data is that the House plan is proposing to give you stimulus checks for the rest of the pandemic plus 1 year. So that's a lot of months. Let's say there's 4 months left in the pandemic. That would be 16 months of stimulus check. The senators, on the other hand, just want to do 6 months of it. Now, most viewers before yesterday's events still preferred the Senate plan for the following reason. While the senators' stimulus check on the monthly basis is unknown, word on the street is this number. About $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 a month over 6 months, which is $8,400. The reason why viewers before yesterday's data preferred the Senate plan was because it's faster money. It's faster money. You get the money on the come. Now, I'll go over why viewers yesterday came in with another rationale as to why they prefer the Senate plan. But first, let me go over who gets this. Everyone who got the third stimulus check. So if you make less than $75,000, you get it. 150,000 married couple or less, you get it, double the check. Household 4 or less, you get it, just 4 times the check. And if you're on SSI or SSDI, Social Security Rural Benefits, you get it. Let me go over the other parameters of it. Is it income? No. Is it taxable? No. When would it start? The month of July, for the month of July. And every month thereafter. It would come in waves? No, it would not come in waves. It would just come once a month for everyone. And then next month the same way. Anything about child support taken out? We don't know anything about that yet. When is it done? When does it start? 2-month process, 2 bills, starting in the month of May, done in the month of July. 2 bills, 2 steps, 2 months to get it done. Very, very simple. This is what all the congressional leaders represent to us. All right, so that was going into yesterday. Then yesterday's data hit, and immediately viewers reacted to the news by saying, oh no, the Senate plan makes a lot more sense. This is what viewers said. The Senate plan gives a lot of money right away to fix the problem, rather than drizzling little bits of money over many, many months, and you still can't get caught up. The issue among viewers is getting caught up. They want to get caught up quickly so they're made close to whole, back to how they were 2019, and drizzling little bits of stimulus checks, the House plan, $1,000 here, and then another month, $1,000. It slows out the process, and for many may just be interest on the prior debt. You're not getting caught up on the bills. So that's why viewers prefer the Senate plan. Now, let me go over what happened yesterday, because it is truly a very easy situation to explain. But what happened was, the reason it happened gets very confusing. So I'm going to try to show you what part of it's easy to understand and what part of it is bizarre. So I told you for over a month, the most important number for stimulus checks was a monthly jobs number. And I told you 2 months ago that the number came, 1 month ago, that the number came in at 1 million jobs restored. Well, there are 8 million jobs missing. That means we're not back to normal for 8 months. That's fine. Stimulus checks will be done in 60 days from now. We're fine. The concern was that jobs would be restored too quickly before they vote for the stimulus checks. And then maybe the congressional leaders would get cold feet because, oh, everyone's back to work. Why do we need stimulus checks? So I had also warned you that there was a series of reports that said, maybe the next number that comes in yesterday will be 2 million jobs restored. That could be very scary for purposes of stimulus checks, because it could mean 2 into 8 is 4 months. We could be restored by the summer. Oh my God, maybe people in Congress will get cold feet and really not send out stimulus checks. So I told you yesterday's number was going to be so inherently, enormously important for fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus. I was 100% correct. I was 100% correct. I've been talking about this number every single day on every single recording for a month. And the number came in, and it has been front page news all yesterday, today, and it's going to be all the front page news for several weeks to come. But the only thing I was very wrong on was it wasn't either of those two permutations. It wasn't 1 million, it wasn't 2 million. It was 200,000? Yes. In the prior month, of the number of jobs offered, only 200,000 people took jobs that were offered to them. Now, it's important to understand this is not how many jobs were created by businesses. This is how many jobs were taken by employees, accepted by employees. Here's an example. 2 nights ago on broadcast news, the head of Papa John's appeared and said, I have 10, 20, 30,000 store manager jobs available, and I can't get anyone to take the store manager jobs. If you were using that data, what would be the number? It would be 0, because it would not be the 20,000. It's not how many jobs Papa John's creates. It's how many jobs people are taking. It's actually 0. So that number came in, and it's a horrible, horrible number. And we immediately saw the other parts of the number. We saw, one, that there were more jobs than people unemployed. So it said, here are the jobs. People are not taking the jobs. Everyone 100% agrees. There are jobs out there. There are more jobs to a person than need be, and people are not taking the jobs. And we've got two other items of data. One, the number of people unemployed actually increased. So more people were unemployed from the month before. And then we had another number come in that was horrible. That they reassessed the number from the month before where there were 1 million jobs restored, and it's actually half that number. Here's what you need to know for forced stimulus. Is the president came in and said, we need to do forced stimulus right away because of what happened yesterday, or this morning. Incredible great news. Incredible great news for us. Now, everything I'm about to tell you in about 10 seconds after this, in this video, it's going to be, you're going to get you're going to brain freeze from it. It's like, you're going to need 2 Advil. But at this point, you could just zip it up and say, okay, I'm just ecstatic the president said that. I don't know what he's about to say, but so far I'm ecstatic. He also said, this is exactly where we got to do fifth stimulus. We got to set it out the door because of this number. This number says we got to do fourth stimulus. We got to do fifth stimulus. Wow. Nothing could be better for us. Let me explain why. This number hit broadcast news like a brick. It was front page everywhere. And then the president came out and said, the way you fix this problem is you pass the fourth stimulus package. You pass the fifth stimulus package. Wow. What a perfect situation. A situation occurs, and then the prep rally from the person with the biggest megaphone, the president, says, do it. Great. Now, it's fine all the way up to there until you hear the president's rest of his sentence. Do it because. Oh, no. Why does he say because? Why does he say because? Everything he says after that, folks, makes absolutely no sense, is actually wrong. So the question is, do we worry? No. Is there any Democrat that's going to step up and say, Mr. President, that makes no sense? I'm not voting for this bill during recon because your rationale makes no sense. No, they're going to listen to his thing. Go do it. Yeah, I'll go do it. I don't agree with your half of the sentence, but up to the because, I was fine with you. So let me tell you the because. For purposes of the forced stimulus, he says, go do this forced stimulus package right away because the reason number was bad today was because there were no jobs. And I need to create jobs for the climate. No. The number that came out today showed that there were jobs. There were more jobs than people. So there is not a shortage of jobs in the economy. In fact, all of yesterday, I cited a quote from a former Obama administration official that worked with Biden that said there's more jobs than people. The problem is that people are not taking the jobs. I'm not going to go into an analysis of why they're not taking the jobs. I'm just saying they're not taking the jobs. Everyone agrees they're not taking the jobs. So the president's message that we need to pass the forced stimulus to create more jobs. No, that's not the problem. So that was the fourth stimulus analysis from the president. Now, fifth stimulus, the president had an opinion about fifth stimulus. How does fifth stimulus work? I got that in just a second. So let me go back, or as the press secretary say, circle back. Let me circle back to fourth stimulus. Let's go over that money right now. So in light of the news of yesterday, where we saw that people were not getting back to work and that more people are becoming unemployed, then what does that say between the House plan and the Senate plan? Viewers universally agreed the problem is the House plan is a drizzle over a very long period of time, whereas the Senate plan really comes in and just picks people up and tries to make them whole very quickly. Let's look at these numbers. These are for single people, just for a single person. $2,000 a month over 6 months, about $12,000, one possibility, or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400 possibility. Viewers yesterday said this is why it works, because people are not back to normal financially. They're not back to normal financially. They got big bills to pay. They were not helped throughout much of 2020 from stimulus packages. They just dragged on. Their bills grew. And they need to be put back to whole. And the bills are growing and growing. You can't give them a drizzle because they can't get caught up. The House plan where we just give them $1,000 a month, too light. And in fact, some viewers were jumping in the comments yesterday saying $2,000 should be $3,000. How about $4,000? Just $4,000 for a few months and we're caught up and we're done. I mean, that's also very, very insightful, because the problem is that people are so far behind financially on their bills that ultimately the issue's at hand. Now, here's another very shocking twist to yesterday's number. And this is for some of my viewers who are business owners, want to start businesses and similar. The number was amplified yesterday by the indication that that the number was reflected in the fact that people were laid off. Not that people didn't get back to work, but that they were at work 2 months before and have been laid off. Folks, this is not news to viewers of this channel. This is not new news to the viewers of Purple Power, because I told you in February that 22% of small business in the United States that had survived throughout this pandemic barely at the skin of their teeth fell apart by February and had to shut their door. I told you that was the largest number we had seen since May a year before. That's the May 2020 number on that graphic. So it's important to know that one part of the aspect of yesterday's number was that the situation was not that people weren't going back to work. It's that they were at work and were laid off, just recently laid off. So, wow, surprising across the board. But also big surprising this week was that while yesterday's number came out from Marty Walsh, the labor secretary for the president, the former mayor of Boston with a big accent, he no less than 2 days earlier had a great news for us as well. He has ordered states to return money to some of you. Oh my God, it's incredible, great news. So what is this and how much money? It's thousands of dollars. If you were on unemployment, again, and your state sent you a check and said, a few weeks later, oh, we made a mistake. We overpaid you. It was our computer glitch. Something went wrong for our computer, but we overpaid you. It wasn't your error. It's our mistake. Please send it back or else. And you're like, what else or else? Or else you better send it back. It's our mistake, but send it back or else. And you send it back. Well, Marty Walsh's Department of Labor said, nope, you should not have sent it back. It was their mistake, and they need to send it back to you. Wow. So states have been ordered to return the money back to you promptly because it was not your fault. Incredible details. Coming up in the second half of this video, I'm going to go over the reaction from Elizabeth Warren to the president, to all the Democrats and the Republicans and the moderates and the nonpartisan groups as to what happened with yesterday's number and what it means for fourth stimulus. Then we'll cut to fifth stimulus and what the president said about yesterday's number and how it impacts fifth stimulus to get out the door, that SSI reform. Stay with me. I'll be back in 60 seconds in this big broadcast of Early Mornings in LA. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues on LALATE in just a little bit as Mornings LALATE returns. Then we go into noontime LALATE shortly thereafter. New show every 2 hours. Mornings is live, noon is live, and afternoons is live. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in those live shows. And then we go into our afternoons program. Afternoons LA taped, evenings LA, and LA late night. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and I'm so excited for you to join me on a big early morning. It's LA broadcast. Am I out of focus? No, I think I'm okay. No, I think I'm out of focus. Viewers have been asking about me, and yesterday I delivered a special rare glimpse into what was going on with me. That video was released on Mornings LA that discussed a medical issue, and it was recorded as an informative video, so you can learn about the situation because it impacts 10% of the American population, and it impacted me as well. So watch that video now on the channel. If you've not subscribed, I want you part of this family. Not the Doge family. I'm not your Doge father. I'm your stimulus father. And consider liking this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Casino VIP. So the president also had statements yesterday about why yesterday's number should be support for passing the fifth stimulus. What did he do? He said much the same thing. This is why you got to pass fifth stimulus, because of this number. Great. I love it. This is, again, the same great news. Someone is being the pep cheerleader, the prep rally leader for the fifth stimulus, and it happens to be the person with the largest megaphone, the President of the United States, and he's using an economic data that everyone knew about, everyone talked about it, everyone from the water cooler to middle America was talking about that number from yesterday, and the president said, see, you got to pass the fifth stimulus. And then at that point, we just sort of take the zipper and zip our mouth closed. We zip our mouth closed and we don't talk, because the second half of what he said was ridiculous. It made no sense. It absolutely doesn't support the proposition. He said the reason why, because we got to pass the fifth stimulus is because the babies need money. The babies need money. The babies need a lot of money. Boy, again with that? Yeah. He said children need money, and the reason why the number for people not taking jobs is because the babies have no money. Okay. Thank you. So let's go over the SSI and SSDI reform that is in fifth stimulus in light of yesterday's developing details. The Democrats would add that to the fifth stimulus package, and they have detailed it extensively. Let me go over what it is and then break it down for you. So they would increase your benefits limits, add asset limits, add inflationary benchmark, then remove the income exclusion, remove the marriage penalty. Let me explain what that is so you understand it. Very easy breezy, not complicated at all to understand. So first, who is you? SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, Social Security, survivor benefits, all of you. If you're on multiple benefits, yep, they cover that as well. So what are they going to do? Raise you up to a new level. That's your new benefits level. Then they're going to tie your benefits to inflation. So as inflation goes up, your benefits go up. Inflation is expected to go up 2, 3, 4% over the next few years. Very cool. Then they're going to remove the asset cap. You need that asset cap removed. Why? Because if you got $12,000 of stimulus checks in the bank, yeah, some of you can't do that because there's a $3,000 asset cap for some of you. Fourth, they're going to remove the income cap, which ironically is important in light of yesterday's developing news. You may not want to work or not be able to work, but some of you do want to work. And you can't because of a 1960 law that says you can't stay on benefits over a certain threshold. And finally, the marriage penalty. If you have suffered from the marriage penalty, you know how horrible it is. And if you're looking to get married, you know about the marriage penalty, and that might be a reason why you're not getting married. I've had viewers say, I know about it, and I don't want to get married because of it. So they're going to throw it away and make it no longer the law, so you can go get married. And if you are married, then the marriage penalty would go away. This is not a retroactive benefit. So this would be the new law, and you would, going forward, no longer have these things upon you that were bad. You would have all good stuff. One thing I haven't said, I think, in about 2 days, is that when they change this, they would not hurt something else. I said a lot earlier in the week, which is it would not impact Medicare or Medicaid or SNAP. Everything would be helped. All right, so why was the president's messaging yesterday so incorrect, but actually great news for fifth stimulus? Because the first part of the sentence is really what people are going to listen to. He said, do the fifth stimulus because the number was so bad today. Okay, good. We're going to do the fifth stimulus. We're done. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're done. But I got more to say. Oh, can you just stop him from talking? It's the second half. He said, we need to pass what's else in the fifth stimulus. So here's an example of why there's stuff in the fifth stimulus that you don't want this president to mention. 12 weeks of paid stalker leave. Yeah, if you have a stalker, you can stay at home and your boss has to pay you 12 weeks. So if you're, and this is fifth stimulus, the fifth stimulus package in September, that would become law by recon, maybe by November. So now, while it's not law now, imagine you're watching the show and you say, I got a job offer. I'm going in for the interview. And I do have a stalker. I heard that Biden wants to give us 12 weeks of paid stalker leave in the fall. And you say to the potential employer, are you going to give that to me? No, of course not. Why would I give you 12 weeks to stay at home? Who wants to have you stay at home? I need you to work. Well, the president wants to pay me 12 weeks to stay at home. No, we're not going to do that. And then you don't take the job. And then that's exactly the problem at hand. There's a lot of stuff in the fifth stimulus package that does not pay people to work. It pays them to stay at home for reasons that are not in the normal subject matter of this channel. You would say, okay, I have COVID, I have to stay home, or a family member sick, or, my child has a quarantine. We're far beyond that. We're talking about, I have a stalker, I have to stay at home. The president wants to pay you for that. I'm not making this up. That's actually what it says. So, and then we have the other parts where you do have a job and maybe you won't take it because the president's not paying you enough money. Hazard pay. Hazard pay. I mean, we've had this discussion on this channel now for a year, why this president's not paying hazard pay. How this, whether it's Republicans, Democrats, they need to pay hazard pay. They don't pay hazard pay. Everything goes back to hazard pay. I've said this for a while. Hazard pay, and I have not said this enough until this recording. I'm going to do it right now. Hazard pay has a bigger implication than just the dollar amount. Hazard pay's implication is, I don't feel safe working there. Make me feel safe and give me the protections as an employee. Hazard pay, whenever you watched it on this channel over 1 year and a few days, always heard me talk about hazard pay in many different manners. There's the money for hazard pay, ensuring the work is safe, paying me if it's not safe, ensuring me paid money if somehow I am endangered by something in the workplace. There's a whole universe of making it feel like, okay, I'm in a nice, comfortable environment. Now I feel comfortable in my own work environment and financially comfortable. And so ultimately, I think perhaps somewhere along the way, maybe the White House started to think about just the number of the money and not that people weren't feeling comfortable. And here's part of the problem. Under the fifth stimulus package, the president proposes to pay an earning income tax credit from the third stimulus as permanent. Well, here's the issue. I love this, but it's so darn cheap. It, again, does not cause a person wanting to work. The earned income tax credit is $1,504 if you work as a hazard pay worker 19 years or older and made less than $25,000. You get a tax credit of $1,504. I'll tell you everything that's wrong about it right now. You get a job offer to work at a grocery store. You look at this and you're like, but the president's only offering me $1,500 as a tax credit? And what is that? That's nothing. You want me to risk my life for $1,500 as a tax credit? It's cheap. It's too cheap. And it's a tax credit. It's not a stimulus check. So had the president put out in the fifth stimulus package bigger hazard pay, $6,000, $7,000 tax credit, go work, and you can make less than $35,000, less than $55,000. People would say, oh my God, I'm going to go work because I'm going to get this great tax credit as an essential worker. He has not delivered that. And I don't want to go in too deep and to sound too angry on an early morning's broadcast. But back in January, when the president had his proposal, which I delivered to members of this channel, I went on air about what was supposed to be in the third stimulus package. He had a provision in there that for hazard pay for the private sector, remember it was private sector and then public sector. For private sector, he said he was going to talk to the businesses and ensure they provide hazard pay. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. He dropped the ball 100% on hazard pay. So I really do think that when we look at this entire universe of why people are not taking jobs, there's a lot of mindset issues. It's not so much the job is cheap or job is that. So now let me give you the reaction that came across the board all throughout the day and through into the late part of yesterday. And I want to go over. I want to broadly just explain to you what the comments were, rather than quoting them one by one. First, you already heard the businesses, what they said, that it's not that people didn't want to come to work, is that they were at work in February and we lost our business. We shut our door down and we had to lay them off. That is what happened. Fascinating statement, and it is true. Then Elizabeth Warren, she came out with perhaps the most unfounded remark of the day. She tried to justify the president's comment by saying this: the reason why people are not going to work is because they have babies. They had babies in 2019, they went to work. They had babies in 2018, they went to work. So, if they have babies in 2021, what's the difference with the babies now? Now, that might be a hazard pay situation. The workplace is not safe, but it has nothing to do with the fact you had a baby. People have been having babies since Adam and Eve. Then we had what you expected, which was Wall Street analysts said there were more jobs per person. And then finally, you had the Republicans, which you expect them to say, like Nancy May, that said, Republican out of South Carolina. Turns out paying millions of Americans to stay home leads to paying millions of Americans staying home. And if you were at this channel for the last 3 days, you saw me go over the Republican governor of Montana, Greg Gianforte, days before this event occurred, saying he's stopping FPUC $300 a week, that unemployment benefit that goes on top of UI and PUA, because people are staying home and not getting back to work in the state of Montana. He says he's stopping it 2 months earlier. And I told you that in that recording, which I think it started around on this last Wednesday, that other red states were going to do it before this news broke yesterday. Well, guess what? The other states are now doing it. South Carolina is doing it as well. South Carolina's Governor Henry McMaster says the problem is FPUC. It's causing a dangerous federal entitlement. What was intended to be a short-term financial assistance, FPUC, for the vulnerable and displaced during the height of the pandemic has turned into a dangerous federal entitlement. Oh boy, those are big words. Entitlement means you just want to stay home and have the government pay for you. And guess what's in the fifth stimulus package? $24,000 for every baby that comes out of the womb for the next 6 years. Or as Representative Richard Neal, the head of the House Ways and Means Committee, who's going to write the reconciliation bill, no, let's do $84,000. $84,000, you come out of the womb, let's give you $84,000 over the next 17 years. Federal entitlement, drop your comments across the board. So to recap, what's important to know is that forced stimulus got an incredible push yesterday from the president as the pep rally, as an economic data came out, which is really still being debated why the number was. But we understand what the number is. People had jobs, more jobs than people. They didn't want to take the jobs. We don't know why, but that's the data. Indisputable data. Everyone said jobs there, they're not taking the jobs, and the numbers tanked. More people became unemployed than the month before. And with that, the president said, pass fourth stimulus, pass fifth stimulus. It's all incredible, great news. The analysis of why the president says this, or Elizabeth Warren says that, is off message. It is incorrect messaging from the president. His rationale for what's going on in the U.S. economy or how to fix it is incorrect. But for purposes of stimulus check, it makes perfect sense. Get it done, and he's putting it front and center. I'll be going live with you on Mornings LA in just a little bit, so just make sure you join me. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. And then we go to noontime, then afternoons, and then into our evening's programming. It's going to be a big day. And tomorrow for Mother's Day, I'll be live on air, the same schedule of programming as well. Full schedule for 2 days. So stay informed, stay focused. I don't want you to miss a single show across the board. Keep it positive, keep informed. Make sure you go to the Friends channel, subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single video throughout the day. Also, like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. Happy Mother's Day. And stay with LA for more.